Hey guys, I want to show you something. So I've been looking through the Internet Trends report from 2017. I was also looking at kind of a business analysis that PwC made in order to look at the top companies and how they've grown and how they lost or gained market share in the last 2 years. And here's some interesting things I found. So first off, I think this is really interesting, especially for your executive team, if you're a CMO, CFO, CEO, whatever it is you're doing, if you're involved in a big company or just doing your thing in your startup, whatever it is, I think this is really valuable info. So first thing, and I think this is really interesting, I was looking at the kind of the TV stats. And if you're looking at everything, right? So you look at TV, network TV minutes delivered, right? In the last 2 years, in the last 5 years. So 2010, 2011, 2015, and 16, you can see the immense growth that Netflix have gained. It's 700% almost. And if you look at NBC, Disney, CBS, Time Warner, all these things, ESPN, they're losing, right? Their minutes delivered. Why is that? It's because Netflix, with its immense growth and its benefits to the consumer, it's actually eating up all the other time spent on the other platforms. So isn't that interesting? Now, what I think this is kind of leading to is the same thing that it leads with social media. So why is Netflix and social media kind of the place people go, right? If you have thought about that, it really makes sense because it's on your time, you have an immense selection, and it's cheaper, right? So if you have all those variables, it makes sense why it happens. So let's look at this even further. If you look at the other stats, if you look at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and their growth in the last 4 years, you can see, first off, Facebook is really competing on video with YouTube. So that's one. And the other one is, you can see their immense growth that they have. Now check this out. There's probably the same amount of people that are on the internet now than 4 years ago. It didn't double. You know, it has grown, but it didn't double. Then where is this growth all coming from? It's coming from TV, it's coming from radio, it's coming from all these places, these old channels. So what I think is interesting is us as agencies especially, but as CMOs, CFOs, CEOs, CIOs, whatever it is you guys are doing, it's really important to take a step back and look at all these things that are really happening, because this is late, you know. If this is not 2012, this has happened, you know. Netflix is already up 700%. It's not like you have to debate the truth. This is the truth. These are the stats. So taking these in consideration, what I think is interesting is to take a step back and look at what makes us as a company kind of still be really not adapt to the proper new media channels that are coming, which is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, all these other platforms that you can now distribute and create content for those. So that's number one. And the second one I've seen, and I think this is really important, is a lot of people in companies just stick to what they know, even though it's an ineffective judgment. So here's what I mean. Why do companies still spend a lot of money on NBC, on CBS, on ESPN, on all these TV big platforms that are good? And by the way, these platforms are still delivering in the 55 to 65 range. They're still delivering pretty well. So they have not lost completely people's attention. It's just that it's better, the ROIS, the return that you get on your ad spend, on your money, on your budget, that's happening on social. So what I found that's happening really is that people, just because they're doing something, they respect that thing that they've done, even though it's an ineffective channel. So how that happens here is people still spend a tremendous amount, probably the majority of their budget, on ineffective media channels. And that's the reason, as I've kind of looked around this, there's a huge amount of companies that are just losing market share. And you're thinking about why. And of course, there's a lot of variables, but I think one of those is a lot of these companies are not where people's eyeballs are actually at. They're not in the place where people spend time on. They're not in the place that people care. They're not in the place with 600% growth. They're in the place with 14% decrease, you know? So if you're doing that, you're actually losing on two ends. You're losing people's attention and you're losing money because these big channels are expensive. So just kind of some thoughts. I'm going to continue my analysis on this because I think this is really interesting. By the way, I'm going to have links for all of these things in the comments or something, to internet trends, to the analysis from PwC, really good analysis, free on the internet. Nobody checks it out, but you do. You're going to. I don't know. And yeah, check it out. So hope you like that. That's it for this video. Pretty simple. Please, please, please take some time and look at your behaviors in your company, in your startup, whatever it is you're doing, and look at them from an objective standpoint. Are they really working? And I've seen this with P&G, with Procter & Gamble. I think they just fired their big agency, and they kind of like redistributed a lot of their budget just because I think the CEO said this. It was going through ineffective media channels. So it's a thing that CEOs and executives are kind of beginning to realize. So please take the time and do that now, because TV is going like this and everything else is going like this. So I would rather have you on the boat that's rising than on the boat that's sinking. Thank you.